Hello and welcome to CIO News. I am Khushbu, Soni, your host for the broadcast and chief editor at CIO News. This is our exclusive interview series on the topic of Voice of CIO. It is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. It is my pleasure to invite our guest for today's episode. He is Mr. Prakash Dharmani, the Global Chief Information Officer at EPL Limited, formerly known as Essel Propack Limited. Prakash is a global CIO at EPL and heads IT for 11 countries across US, Europe, Asia, and Far East, and an award-winning and customer-centric professional. Prakash has worked in matrix environment, led projects spanning geographies and cultures, and his focus has been aligning IT vision, strategy, and roadmap with organizational goals, building teams, and partnering businesses. Prakash has leveraged partner ecosystem to enable business outcomes and sustained value creation. He's a university-ranked chemical engineer with management qualification of IIM Bangalore and 29 plus years of experience with India's largest private sector organizations like Reliance, SR, Essel Group, and having presence across oil and gas, utility, EPC, shared services, 3PL logistics, and manufacturing verticals. He's been recognized and awarded for various categories in the industries for flagship award ceremonies. For example, CIO 100, India's best 50 CIOs by CIO Association of India, IDC Insight Awards, Jury of Frost and Sullivan Awards, and many more. Prakash, it is an absolute pleasure to have you, and I am pretty sure your valuable insights are, going to be very much impactful for our viewers on the episode today.
Hey, Khushbu, good morning. Thanks a lot. I think that introduction was really flattering, but I'm really humbled. I think, whatever I have achieved, I think so far, it's really thanks to it's a lot of hard work has gone in, but it's a culmination of a lot of I would say hard work, and you've been there at the right time, right place at the right time. So I also like to remember a quick quote on 13 steps to be pretty good luck. So hard work pays ultimately. You're lucky if you try to achieve something, you go beyond. You have to really be passionate about what you want to achieve. So I really give credit to that. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's definitely all your hard work and the experience that you have gained throughout these 30 years. So wonderful. Prakash, I would want to begin with my first question around, you being a global CIO for such a large entity. What does a typical day look like?
So, Khushbu, since, I, head the, IT for practically 11 odd countries. So and most of our units are, working 24/7. So, somewhere, so while we wake up, somewhere it's the evening, somewhere it's morning. So, typically, first thing, obviously, if I had to divide my complete role, I would say 30 to 40% of energy or time I definitely spend, to ensure, that everything is, working or, basically operations, right? So, so these days, obviously, cybersecurity is a big challenge in terms of. So, first, I obviously, when you get up in the morning, is obviously at least have a quick glance. Across our groups. So we have obviously, apart from regular emails, etc. So we have formed our own WhatsApp group. So just, quickly wake up and see if everything is normal across, and, so whether it is network or operations, and we have got a single instance of ERP running across all these 11 countries. So once we have, I assure, that things are healthy, I mean, in terms of network applications, no major escalations. Obviously, then the focus starts to to building a future. I think it's very important for CIOs, to always keep, I would say, larger part of our focus to ensure, towards future. I mean, what should I do today so that my tomorrow is secure, or tomorrow I will not have a lot of challenges.
Correct.
Right. So in terms of, again, whether it is security or application or, evaluating new age technologies, because again, in our case, what happens, obsolescence definitely comes very fast. So you need to keep evaluating. And also, like you said, when business value creation comes, when you are ensuring, because there are host, plethora of technologies which you can apply, but then you have to be very selective and you have to apply your, I would say, domain and business knowledge, whether that will be applicable to you or not.
Correct.
Right? So that's where I think CIO role, and that comes when, again, when you need to have, lot of you, as a CIO, I need to spend a lot of time with my internal stakeholders, so whether it is my chief CEO, chief operating officers, and CFO, and understand, what are they expecting out of IT, and that's where the partnering comes. So, not actually IT, more in terms of what are their business challenges, and then you come with your view how this can be tackled. So.
Right.
That's where the major focus is, Khushbu, in terms of, on a day-to-day, that's how I would spend my day.
So wonderful. Great. My next question is, around the digital transformation. So if you could throw some light of how can digital transformation help the packaging industry to manage the production and profitability demands in the current times?
Yeah. So again, digital transformation is relevant, I would say, not only to packaging industry, to all the industries, right across. So in the sense, so I'm just trying to give this answer more on a generic basis. Packaging industry, if you look at the processes, what we follow are more or less very familiar to any discrete manufacturing industry. So, and since we are, in the business of producing laminated and plastic tubes, we produce more than 8 billion tubes, and we got customers practically across the globe. And some of them are really very, very large FMCG customers, right? So obviously quality matters. In the sense, we internally, we have got 3-4 programs, which we are focusing always on, is on a zero defect program. So, we ensure that our customers actually get a absolutely zero tube. It's a very large statement or commitment to make, because we supply some of our customers, like Colgate, we supply billions of tubes to them. Now to achieve zero defect tube is really an very, I would say, a very audacious kind of a task. But then we are working on it. So digital transformation, if I look at our business processes, manufacturing is our core competencies. So what we have done is we have started working on our shop floor. We have tried to, so in our couple of plants, what we have done is we have completely eliminated manual logbooks. Say, for example, at the end of the shift, operator is supposed to fill in the logbooks. What we have done is we have totally revamped or digitized the processes in a manner that a person, we have given them handsets wherein they can record the production, scrap, everything related to that transaction. And if there are even machine changeovers or there are checklists, they actually just carry a handsets along with them, and they fill all the. And these handsets are very tightly integrated with our machines. So basically, we have ensured that our machines are IoT enabled, and in the backend they are also integrated with ERP. So whatever work, the tedious work of capturing the data in a manual or a physical logbooks, we are totally eliminated. But the advantage is, we got a huge productivity gain. So operator earlier who was spending around, maybe 1.5 to 2 hours capturing the data, that we reduced it to less than an hour. So that he can focus more on the monitoring the machines, and then he can spend more time on analyzing the data, which gets generated during the shift.
Right.
So, and we also given him early watch, early alerts, which, so suppose there's a trend, and if we anticipate the machine is really not, working in a manner it was designed to be, he gets an alerts on his handheld devices. So that's where a lot of work is going on, Khushbu, to ensure that, we achieve a lot of, we increase our machine efficiency and operational equipment efficiencies. Yeah. So,
right. Awesome. Okay, great. And my next question is around the cloud computing. What are your thoughts? Has cloud computing created a flexible, scalable, and on-demand IT environment in the packaging industry? Though it has, from a lot of perspective, but your thoughts around that would be great.
Yeah. So cloud, again, I would say it's very important for, I would say, whether it is CIOs or IT heads to keep evaluating cloud. I would not say, again, just for the sake of it, you should do it. You need to have your business case. What are your objectives?
Right.
Cloud definitely gives you, I would say, flexibility when you're trying to implement a new technology. So, for example, in our case, we have moved our complete analytics platform on cloud. Okay, so we because we were really not very sure in terms of how this will pan out. It is really a very scalable, and the requirements keep evolving when we are. So our complete manufacturing analytics right now, we have shifted to the cloud. It gives you scalability, plus it gives you the lead time to basically source, especially in current pandemic when every OEM is saying that you will need 6 to 8 weeks to even get your new servers, etc. That's where cloud really comes in handy. Suppose if you want to ramp up or you want to try a pilot of a new technology, you can reach out to any public service providers, like whether it is AWS or Google Cloud Platform. They really help you to cut down that cycle time.
Correct.
From perspective, I would say it really makes sense to do that. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Awesome. And how can packaging industry be benefited with the whole transition to cloud, and what percentage of work do you think they should look at considering while moving to the cloud?
I think to a very large extent, Khushbu, I would say maybe around 60 to 70%. Maybe there'll be still some, I would say, workloads where, for example, like any ERP, which you'd like to still have something in your control, which are absolute critical, but critical applications which you would like to run on-premise. But that is also changing, with, for example, in SAP Rise with SAP is now coming with cloud, and these models also maturity. Are getting much more mature. Technologies are becoming much more. So earlier, say for example, in our case, again, since I have a single instance of SAP, I would be little tentative. I would like to definitely have like to see how things are panning out in maybe another year or two before I take that plunge of moving my even ERP onto the cloud. But today, if I look at my landscape, my email more or less is already on a private cloud. My all my HR system is on a public cloud, or it's on a SaaS model. So my legal is again on SaaS. So almost 30-40% I would say already I'm on cloud, right? So so in the sense, and with analytics also going on cloud, I would say it's a definite step. So it's almost like right now, if you ask me, it's more than 50% or maybe 40 to 50% is on cloud, and balance only ERP as such is on-prem.
On-prem. Okay.
Yeah. See what happens with the TCO. Quick one. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, quick. See, obviously, cloud, while it offers a lot of scalability and flexibility in terms of movement to cloud, but TCO is always a concern.
Right. Yeah.
I would not say just adopting cloud blindly is an option, because you always again need to look at a 5-year TCO.
Correct.
Whether that makes a common sense for it, because apart from technology, because sometimes if you also observe, and these days again, because OEM vendors are also realizing that cloud is becoming a much more viable option, they are also coming up with a lot of innovative options, where. So it's a kind of a hybrid kind of a solution one can look at. So in fact, ERP, while I have not moved to the cloud, actually I've gone on a hybrid model, to do that. Yeah.
Right. How do you measure currently the TCO?
So what I would do is, say, for example, cloud is obviously is little easier. I mean, suppose if you want to host a particular compute and the storage, you would get rates from either it is AWS or Azure, or and then you look at what you're going to spend on a 5-year. Vis-a-vis on-prem, obviously it's a capex, right? So, but then you need to work out the present value and the of the money, and then also but then when you're doing on-prem, obviously you also need to load the certain hour time, management time, because that was something ideally would not happen in case when you move to the cloud.
Correct.
So load all those factors, in terms of, so what's going to be my hosting charges, what's going to be my procurement cost. Once we add all these, and then to compare TCO of on-prem versus cloud.
Right.
And unless until there's a substantial difference between the two, then only we try to take we take a plunge towards cloud.
Okay, got it. Okay. Awesome. My next question is, around the analytics. I wanted to understand how are you leveraging analytics to reduce operational cost, improve production efficiency in the packaging industry, and what does the future look like in terms of analytics for the packaging?
Yeah. So, it's really getting, I would say, very interesting, because more than what we have done is in terms of, like I said, analytics. When we move to the cloud, we also, on a real-time basis. For example, right now, we are analyzing our complete data of our plants, or I would say production efficiency of our plants on a real-time basis on the cloud. And so, that gives a lot of visibility earlier. So, for example, our unit managers, on the side, if they had to evaluate the data, they would have to go into ERP, that is our SAP, download the data, push it into Excel, then do a lot of analytics. Now, since we have integrated that on a real-time basis, using BIBW platform, they are able to get into the systems. So that helps them to take much more informed decisions, especially when it comes to monitoring of the effectiveness or efficiencies of the machine. Because see what happens, we have around, say, each of our units have around 20 to 25 machines running simultaneously, or 24/7, right? And if there are any unplanned downtimes, or if those machines are really not working as per our plans, then somebody needs to take some corrective actions. So that's analytics is also coming into the picture. Now, but this is very basic. Somebody would say, Prakash, nothing new. What great. But what we also now trying to do, and I'll be candid, we are still not reached there, but then we are also trying to develop predictive maintenance modules on top of it. Okay. So, for example, so we are working with a couple of universities and even few startups to see how we can, based on my, say, maybe 3-year machine data, and look at when those machines actually failed, at what triggered those failures, etc. Okay. So we are now doing some machine learning and AI on top of it to arrive at the predictive maintenance part of it. So we are working with even our OEM. So we see, fortunately for us, all our machines are absolutely standardized. So if you go to any of our factory, whether it is in Poland or in India, and say Vapi, our machines are all imported from one single OEM in Switzerland. So so we are extensively now working back with OEM to develop machine learning modules on top of it to ensure how we can predict the failures on these machines. So a lot of interesting stuff is right now going on in this area.
Awesome. Great. I think before we end, I have one last question. Any highlights, any do's, don'ts, or any best practices that you can share for our viewers from the tech industry?
Yeah. Again, an interesting question. Thanks. Do's is, I would say, we need to engage a lot with our internal stakeholders. I would definitely give a lot of importance to that. And not only, I would say, CXOs. see, as a CIO, you should in fact go one level down,
Correct.
reach out to, say, for example, if I have around 20 units globally, I make it a point to talk to my regional manufacturing head and the unit heads, because some of these, pain points, many times it doesn't go right to the top. So once you, once you have you created that trust and the relationship with those guys, they really open up. And
Right.
some of these solutions are really I would say these are low hanging fruits.
Correct.
If you deliver to them, it eases their life much beyond than what we actually anticipated. There could be some pain points with these, manufacturer guys tend to live with it. But when you step in and you provide solutions, I think that really helps. I would say the returns are multiple X. So
Correct.
strongly suggest to do that. And then best practice, again, like I said previously, always keep one eye on the future, in the sense, in our case, I mean, we can't be complicit. Change is only constant. Either you need to change or somebody will come and change you.
True. True.
So that's where I will leave the. I would leave my thoughts with you. So.
Awesome. Great, wonderful insights, Prakash. And I am pretty sure from, with all the innovation that you're bringing in, there are a lot of key takeaways, especially for the packaging industries, thoughts that you've shared. So great. Good to connect with you and have you on our episode of Voice of CIO. Thank you once again for being a part of this.
Thank you. Thank you, Khushbu. My pleasure.